What is an affluminder? We've been talking about it a bit, but what is that, and how has it actually impacted you? How did that actually come about?
Yeah, so it was about a year and a half ago, and I have a mental illness, and I had a kind of a big thought, that I somehow wanted to impact and inspire those with a mental illness. And one of the things that I love in my life is I was actually in a psych ward, and we'll get into that in a second. And I met a young woman who graduated from Andrews University near Chicago, and we were there together. And fast forward to where we are now, and she sits right across the desk from me. That young professional thought her life was going to be over, and instead she now aspires to be something. And that is where the concept of doing greater good. And ultimately what happened is I have these big ideas because I'm bipolar. I have a very unique brain and a very powerful, creative, kind-hearted, beautifully simple and unique brain. And the idea that me and my wife had was to change the narrative of mental illness so we could change the stigma of mental illness. And our goal, and I'm not kidding, is within 30 years is to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And we will do that. And you ask, well, how am I so confident? Well, I'm bipolar. When I put my mind to something, I always accomplish it. There is a long history of how my life got there, and we don't need to get into that, but I suffered a major trauma at 34, and it threw me into a manic episode. And I ended up in the psych ward 3 times, and I attempted suicide twice. And there's not many CEOs that will say that publicly, and I say it proudly. I travel the country and I get to present about leadership. And oftentimes, once the applause stops, I get asked the question, well, how did you come up with such an open-minded, unique approach? And I always respond with, I'm proudly bipolar. And that's something I'm proud of. It is not who I am, but it is a big part of me.